On the day of the engagement party, Ethan's childhood friend, Tiffany, poured a basin of her foot-washing water into the champagne tower, claiming it was to liven things up. She said it was to ward off bad luck and wish for a growing family, and demanded that I drink her foot-washing water as if it were a champagne toast. The foot-washing water streamed down the champagne tower, spilling all over the floor, disgusting all the guests. Overcome with shame and rage, I kicked over the champagne tower and slapped her hard. That evening, when I returned home, Ethan didn't comfort me. Instead, he questioned, "Tiffany was just playing a joke, why did you hit her? Don't you know she has a heart condition? Because of your slap, she's in the ICU right now, being resuscitated." A joke? You wanted me to drink her foot-washing water? Ethan, you know I was pushed into a sewage pit when I was 18, almost drowning, just to save you. I can't stand that smell. Forget drinking it, I can't even smell it. Yet she brings that disgusting stuff to my engagement party, and you don't blame her, but you come and accuse me instead? What's wrong with you? Ethan looked displeased, but quickly put on a smile. I'm sorry, Grace, I was inconsiderate. That night, Ethan personally removed my makeup and was intimate with me, just as he always was. But when I woke up, I found myself in a sealed wastewater plant. The stench of excrement and urine was nauseating all around me, and Ethan's friends were outside, circling and laughing at me. Ethan put his arm around Tiffany's waist, a mocking look on his face. Disgusted? Well, today you're going to get to know them intimately. I ignored them, calmly took out my cell phone, and snapped a photo. Then I dialed that number I hadn't called in a long time. Liam, you said it. Anyone who dares to lay a finger on me, you'd ruin them. Now's your chance. As soon as I hung up, laughter erupted from the platform above. They clutched their stomachs, ing non-stop, their eyes full of disdain. Liam? Ha 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 ha. Grace, have you been so addled by the smell of excrement and urine that you've gone crazy? Where would you get a Liam? A yellow-haired heir laughed until tears streamed down his face. Tiffany, holding Ethan's arm, laughed scornfully. She exaggeratedly pinched her nose, then took out her cell phone, turned on the flash, and furiously took pictures of my miserable state. Ethan, look. Grace has finally found the place that suits her best. This smell, it perfectly matches her noble demeanor. Grace, you thought my foot-washing water was dirty? How about this now? Isn't this a pure, natural, deluxe upgrade? We worked all night to prepare this surprise for you, you should thank us. After she finished speaking, as if that wasn't enough, she pulled a wet wipe from her designer bag, wiped her fingers, then spat on the wipe, and threw it down like trash. The white wipe landed in the yellowish-brown filth, standing out glaringly. Ethan embraced her waist, his face full of delight, looking down at me with a cold expression. Grace, stop acting. It's useless. Who do you think you know that I don't? No one can save you today. He spat at me, and although it was several meters away, I still felt as if the spittle landed on my face. Oh, I almost forgot, Ethan slapped his forehead, as if something just occurred to him. You do know a big shot, my brother, Liam, right? At the mention of that name, my heart constricted sharply. Seeing my momentary, Ethan's smile grew smug. What? Did I guess right? Were you planning to call him? Don't dream about it. Someone like my brother, would he care if a woman like you, wallowing in a sewage pit, lives or dies? I'm telling you, even if he knew you were here, he wouldn't come. He'd just find you disgusting, dirtying his eyes. Exactly. What kind of person is Liam? He meets socialites and heiresses every day. Why would he bother with a bug like you, wallowing in a sewage pit? You should take a good look in the mirror. Oh, that's right, you're in urine right now. Go ahead and take a good look. See how disgusting you are. A few drops of yellow liquid dripped onto my head from the pipe above, then flowed down my face. I suppressed a dry heave and glared at Ethan. Ethan, I've looked forward to this engagement party for 7 years, but Tiffany ruined it. Not only did Tiffany ruin my engagement party, she also wanted me to drink her foot-washing water. What's wrong with me slapping her? Before I could finish, there was a rumble above my head, and a gush of wet, foul-smelling liquid instantly poured over me. The putrid stench of excrement and urine made my face pale, and I clutched my chest, beginning to vomit. Grace, Tiffany meant well for us, she wants us to be happy forever. I personally watched her wash her feet, that basin of water wasn't dirty at all. It's one thing that you don't appreciate it, but you hit her. If we don't curb your temper this time, you'll only cause greater trouble in the future. I was so angry I could barely speak. Foot-washing water isn't dirty? Drinking foot-washing water brings lasting happiness? Only a vile woman like Tiffany could say such absurd things. Ethan, let me out now. You know that year, when I jumped into the sewage pit to save you, I developed an allergy to these smells. If I don't get out, I'll die. That year, when Ethan and I were on an outdoor trip, he accidentally fell into a sewage pit. His friends were disgusted and unwilling to save him, only I jumped in. Ethan was rescued, but I was admitted to the hospital with nitrogen poisoning and spent a week in the ICU before I was out of danger. From then on, whenever I smelled this disgusting odor, I would break out in hives and have difficulty breathing. After I woke up, Ethan knelt before me and promised that from then on, I would be his life, and he would love me with his life. And he did. He took on all the dirty and tiring chores home. Young Ethan himself, he would wash the toilets for me every day. Several times I couldn't bear to watch and wanted to help, but he would pull me into his arms, saying, "Grace, I told you, I won't let you suffer any more harm." But now, that boy who used to wash toilets for me was tormenting me like this, all for a disgusting woman like Tiffany. Ethan pursed his lips, seemingly a little moved. Just as he was about to release me, Tiffany, who was behind him, comforted him. "Ethan, please let Grace out. I'm used to hardship, a slap is nothing. And even in the ICU, my life isn't worth much, I won't die easily. But as used to a comfortable life, she can't withstand such torment. Even smelling a bit of a bad odor could kill her." In the ICU? She ran faster than a rabbit when she complained to Ethan yesterday. Was this a heart attack? Before I could explain, Ethan's face instantly turned cold. Used to a comfortable life? A bit of a bad odor could kill her? Then today, I'll make her suffer a bit and let her know that being too arrogant brings retribution. He waved his hand at the workers behind him. "Open the gate. Let her have a good wash." The worker's face changed, but he dared not disobey, so he walked to a giant valve and turned it with all his might. Boom! A huge pipe opening beside me suddenly burst open, and a viscous, yellowish-brown liquid, mixed with rotten food scraps and toilet paper bits, surged towards me like a flash flood. The foul-smelling torrent violently rushed at me. My knees buckled, and I stumbled forward. Splash! My face hit the waist-deep sewage first. The foul, greasy, yellowish-white liquid instantly engulfed me. I struggled to stand up, but accidentally stepped on something slippery and soft, falling again. More filth poured into my mouth and nose. I clung to the edge of the pit, uncontrollably dry heaving, bile and filth dripping from the corners of my mouth. The laughter from the platform grew louder. "Look, look. She drank it. She actually drank it." Tiffany giggled and threw a bag of leftover potato chips and half a cup of milk tea down, landing precisely beside me, splashing sewage onto my face. Ethan looked at my suffering face, smiling cruelly. "Grace, do you remember that when you saved me when you were 18, you looked just like this? Smelling terrible, like a rat that fell into a toilet. Now it seems, you were born for this place." I suppressed my revulsion and shouted at Ethan, "Ethan, do you have any conscience left? I almost died saving you back then, yet you're degrading me like this for an outsider like Tiffany? What do you take me for?" "Grace, don't keep bringing that up. I've taken care of you for so many years, I've long paid you back. Today, you must kneel down and apologize to Tiffany. You only smelled a bit of a bad odor and feel wronged, but what about Tiffany? She almost died because of you. Kneel to that vile woman? Never. I'd rather be suffocated to death in here than apologize." My defiance ignited an even greater fury in Ethan. He ordered again, "Open the valve to Pool as well. Today, I'm going to make sure she soaks enough." "No, Mr. Vance." The worker who had been operating the valve quickly tried to stop him. "Pool is connected to the main sewage pipe. It's full of untreated sewage and waste. There are too many bacteria. If she inhales it, she could actually die." "She won't die. I'll take responsibility if anything happens. Go now." The worker tried to say something more but was roughly pushed by a bodyguard standing next to Ethan. "Just do what you're told. Stop talking nonsense." The worker dared not resist further and could only tremblingly walk towards the valve of Pool. Soon, a yellowish-brown torrent, 10 times more violent than before, mixed with greasy floating objects and undigested food scraps, gushed out from another pipe opening. A suffocating stench instantly filled my nostrils. My nose went numb and I felt an overwhelming nausea. The impact of the torrent was too great, I couldn't keep my balance. The back of my head hit the opposite wall of the pit with a heavy thud. Everything went black, and I was completely submerged. Cold, sticky liquid frantically poured into my mouth, nose, and ears. An indescribable sour, bitter, acrid taste instantly exploded in my mouth and nose. The foreign sensation and nausea made my throat ache. I could even feel slippery, soft things sliding down my throat. I wanted to vomit, but when I opened my mouth, I could only choke on more sewage and filth. I was about to lose my breath because every breath I took brought in a large mouthful of sewage. A burning pain shot through my chest. This nausea had surpassed my limit of endurance. I mustered my last ounce of strength, desperately clawing in the overwhelming sewage, and finally touched the cold wall. Struggling, I crawled towards the glass pane, which was already covered in filth, begging Ethan outside for help. Are you really going to watch me die? Perhaps my appearance was too pitiful, for a flicker of unbearable emotion crossed Ethan's eyes. He took half a step forward and was about to raise his hand when Tiffany, behind him, spoke with a wrong tone. Ethan, how about we just let it go? Seeing screams so miserably, I feel a little sorry for her. As she spoke, tears rolled down her face. She buried her face in Ethan's chest, her shoulders trembling slightly, her voice laced with a strong sob. Grace is so lucky. Even for smelling a little bad odor, someone cares for her, seeing how anxious you are. Unlike me, I was in so much pain in the ICU, struggling to breathe, but to keep you from worrying, I didn't make a sound. I really envy Grace. Tiffany's calculated performance, appearing to retreat but actually advancing, instantly wiped away that flicker of pity in Ethan's eyes, replacing it with amplified concern for her. He held Tiffany tightly, looking at me with ruthless eyes. Did you hear that, Grace? Tiffany suffered so much and didn't utter a sound, yet you, just for smelling a little bad odor, act like you've endured the greatest injustice. I really misjudged you. I'll give you one more chance. If you kneel down and apologize to Tiffany right now, I'll forgive you this time. Otherwise, don't blame me for being ruthless. I suppressed the urge to vomit and spat at the despicable pair. Me apologize to that vile woman? Over my dead body. Grace, you are utterly ungrateful. Ethan turned his head towards the worker, his voice more violent than before. Go and open valve number 3 as well. I'm going to make sure she suffers today. No, Mr. Vance. Hearing about opening valve number 3, the worker's face turned pale with fear. Pool contains highly concentrated industrial waste, it's corrosive. People could die. Stop all that nonsense and go. Ethan's face was grim. The worker dared not resist further and could only tremblingly walk towards the valve of pool. Soon, another gush of liquid, smelling of pungent chemicals and emitting white smoke, sprayed from another pipe opening, directly onto my back and hair. Sizzle, a searing, burning pain shot through my skin. My clothes were corroded with large holes, and my exposed skin quickly turned red, swollen, and blistered. I curled into a ball in pain, letting out a piercing shriek. Under the double assault of excruciating pain and foul stench, my consciousness began to fragment, everything before my eyes became blurred. I lay slumped by the edge of the pit, barely having the strength to dry heave, my body like a puddle of mud, only twitching faintly by instinct. Through my blurry, tear-filled eyes, I saw Ethan's smile vanish, replaced by a flicker of imperceptible panic. He stared intently at the blood and flesh wound on my back, corroded and mangled, his Adam's apple bobbed, as if he wanted to say something. Tiffany keenly sensed the change in his emotions. She no longer used provocation but leaned limply against Ethan, her voice on the verge of tears. Ethan, Grace. She seems to be at her limit. How about we just stop? I don't want anyone to die because of me. As she spoke, tears streamed down her face. It's all my fault. I shouldn't have told you I was wronged. But when I think about how arrogant she was at the engagement party, I get scared. I'm afraid she'll bully me again, Ethan, I'm really scared. These words successfully pulled back Ethan's guilt. He saw me slumped by the pit and thought I was just resting from exhaustion. Grace, why are you so stubborn? You hurt Tiffany, apologizing to her is only right. Why must you suffer so much? Ethan walked to the edge of the pit where I was slumped, wanting to persuade me to give in. But when he saw me with my eyes tightly shut and foam at my mouth, he completely panicked. Grace, wake up, don't scare me. Open the door, open the door. Ethan frantically urged the workers to open the door, but the worker said the key had already been given to Tiffany. Just then, Tiffany suddenly clutched her chest and collapsed to the ground. My heart hurts so much, I can't breathe. Ethan, quickly take me to the hospital. Tiffany, where's the key? Take out the key first. Ethan, what are you saying? I can't hear you clearly. Tiffany curled up on the ground, clutching her chest. Ethan couldn't get an answer and broke into a cold sweat. Boom! A deafening roar came from the entrance of the treatment plant. The entire factory building began to vibrate violently, and dust fell from the ceiling. The heavy alloy door was slammed, instantly twisting and deforming, a huge dent pushed inward. Who is so bold as to dare touch someone who belongs to me, Liam? Everyone was stunned by the sudden turn of events. What's going on? An earthquake? Boom! The second loud bang was even more violent than the first. The alloy door could no longer hold, crashing heavily to the ground and kicking up a cloud of dust. Thick smoke and dazzling lights shone in from the broken opening. Through the smoke, a massive, metallic silhouette slowly drove in. It was a military-grade armored vehicle with a chilling aura. The car door opened, and a man in a black trench coat stepped out. His figure was tall and straight, his face handsome, but his eyes surged with icy coldness. It really was Liam. Ethan, Tiffany, and the other heirs on the platform were all petrified. Especially, his face was ashen, and his body trembled uncontrollably. Liam, how could you? Liam's gaze did not linger on them for a second. He walked directly through the mess on the ground, his eyes accurately pinpointing me, covered in filth, in the sewage pit. Grace. Faintly, I heard Liam call my name. When I realized it really was him, my tears could no longer be held back. You're finally here. Liam jumped off the platform, waded through the foul sewage, and carefully lifted me from the water. I'm sorry, I came too late. Liam, listen to me. It's a misunderstanding. Ethan's father was Liam's stepfather, and Ethan had always feared his older brother from outside the family. Tiffany was also terrified. She hid behind Ethan, not even daring to whimper. Liam carried me and walked towards them, coldly sweeping his gaze over everyone present. Misunderstanding? Liam looked at Ethan, his eyes devoid of warmth. Tell me, who threw her down there? Ethan's lips trembled, unable to utter a single word, his gaze instinctively darting towards Tiffany beside him. Liam's sight shifted to Tiffany's face. Tiffany, terrified, knelt on the ground. No, it wasn't me. Liam, it has nothing to do with me. It was all Ethan. He did it. He brought Grace here to get even for me. Ethan looked at Tiffany in disbelief, wanting to explain to Liam, but he was scared by Liam's eyes. Liam, I just wanted to play a joke with Grace. I didn't think it would turn out like this. A joke? You call this a joke? He said NLY kicked Ethan hard on the knee. Crunch! A crisp sound of bone cracking echoed. Ethan let out a piercing shriek, falling to his knees and rolling in agony, clutching his leg. Ah! My leg! My leg is broken! Everyone present gasped in shock. No one expected Liam to actually lay a hand on Ethan, and with such brutality. Tiffany's face went completely pale with fear, she was paralyzed on the ground, even forgetting to beg for mercy. Did I not tell you not to touch her? Ethan writhed on the ground in pain. Liam, I was wrong. I'm really wrong. Please spare me this one time. Spare you? Liam sneered. Did you think about sparing her when you threw her into the sewage pit? He no longer paid attention to Ethan and turned his head to look at the other heirs, who were now terrified. And all of you. Wherever's gaze fell, those heirs' legs went weak, and they successively knelt down. Mr. Liam, we were wrong. We just came along to join the fun, it has nothing to do with us. Yes, Mr. Liam. It was all Ethan and Tiffany's idea. We were forced. Liam looked at their pathetic display, the disgust in his eyes deepening. He said nothing, merely made a simple gesture to the bodyguards behind him. The bodyguard captain immediately understood. He stepped forward and coldly said to the heirs, our boss's meaning is, you all had a good time watching the show just now. Now, it's your turn to perform. What? The heirs hadn't yet reacted. Several bodyguards had already rushed forward, grabbing them by their collars and dragging them one by one to the edge of the platform. No. Don't. We don't want to go down. Help. Amidst their piercing screams, the bodyguards mercilessly threw them one by one into the sewage pit. Finally, only Tiffany and Ethan remained on the platform. Liam slowly walked towards Tiffany. I heard you have a heart condition? His voice was very soft, but it made Tiffany feel an unprecedented fear. She shook her head frantically. No. I don't. I don't. I was faking it. Liam, I was faking it all. Please let me go. Oh, faking it, huh? Liam nodded, seemingly pleased with the answer. Since you don't have a heart condition, then tie her and him together, and hang them under that discharge outlet. Let them cultivate some good feelings. Medical personnel quickly cleaned my body and changed me into clean clothes. When I was helped out of the armored vehicle, I saw Ethan and Tiffany bound with ropes by several bodyguards, hanging high beneath the foul pipe opening. Liam. No. Please. I'm your brother. Liam. I was wrong. I'll never dare again. I'll do anything you want. Please let me down. Liam ignored them. He walked over to me, looked at me in silence for a moment, then spoke to the worker who had been operating the valve. Open the gate. Splash, a viscous, yellowish-brown liquid poured out of the pipe opening like a waterfall. Large clumps of excrement and urine drenched Ethan and Tiffany, and their screams were miserable. I watched this scene, feeling no hint of satisfaction, only numbness. This was the man I had loved for 7 years. This was our final outcome. Liam walked to me, took off his trench coat, and draped it over my shoulders. Let's go. Liam took me to a private hospital he owned, where I underwent the most comprehensive physical examination. Fortunately, aside from extreme shock and humiliation, my body was unharmed. I lay in a clean, soft hospital bed, smelling the faint scent of disinfectant in the air, feeling as if I were dreaming. Liam stayed by my bedside the entire time, never leaving my side. Liam was my nominal brother, but we were not related by blood. Liam's birth father was my father's comrade in arms. That year, Liam's father died in an accident, and Liam's mother was desperate with her young son. My father extended a helping hand, taking them into our home. That year, Liam was 10, and I was 6. He was like a solitary little wolf, quiet and prickly all over, all I was a little princess adored by all. We had almost no interaction. Later, they moved away, and I gradually forgot about this nominal brother. It wasn't until I went to college and started a relationship with Ethan that I saw him again at the residence. By then, he had shed his youthful awkwardness, becoming handsome and aloof, having built his own business empire. He was someone the entire Vance family looked up to. He was very good to me, so good that it went beyond the scope of a brother. But at that time, my heart and eyes were filled with the sunny and outgoing Ethan, and I ignored Liam's overtures. I even felt that he was too cold, too imposing, making it hard to breathe. Looking back now, I was truly blind. What are you thinking about? Liam's deep voice interrupted my thoughts. I came back to myself, looked at his bloodshot eyes, and softly asked, "You haven't slept?" He shook his head. Not tired. He paused, seemingly choosing his words carefully. Grace, about what happened back then. I knew what he wanted to say. When I was 18, Ethan, Tiffany, and a group of friends and I went camping in the suburbs. Ethan, wanting to show off in front of Tiffany, chased a wild rabbit and accidentally fell into an abandoned sewage pit. Everyone was terrified, but only I, without thinking, jumped in. It was Liam, who, after receiving the distress call from my friend, rushed there immediately and pulled both of us out of that hell. From then on, Liam warned Ethan to stay away from Tiffany. He also warned me that Ethan wasn't worth it. I didn't believe him then. I thought he was jealous, trying to sow discord. I was such a complete fool. It's all in the past. Now, I see clearly. Liam looked at me, his eyes full of tenderness. He reached out and gently stroked my hair. It's good that you see clearly. Just then, the hospital room door was roughly pushed open. Ethan's parents, Robert and Margaret, and my parents, Thomas and Eleanor, rushed in. Margaret, Ethan's mother, saw me and pounced like a madwoman. "Grace, you jinx. What did you do to our Ethan?" Liam reacted quickly, standing up and blocking my hospital bed before Margaret could reach me. "Aunt, please calm down. Ethan's parents divorced when he was very young. His mother, Margaret, left Ethan with the Vance family. Later, Robert married Liam's mother, Clara, and Margaret had always disliked Liam. Liam, don't think you're so great just because you have money now. Ethan is your brother. How could you lay such a heavy hand on him for an outsider? I'm telling you, if anything happens to Ethan, I'll fight you to the death." Ethan's father, Robert, also frowned, looking at Liam with disapproval. "Liam, you went too far with this. Even if Ethan was wrong, you could have just disciplined him. How could you break his leg? And throw him into a place like that?" My parents stood by, their faces also very grim. My mother, Eleanor, looked at me, her eyes red, wanting to come over, but Margaret blocked her. My father, Thomas, had an ashen face. He looked at Ethan's parents and said in a low voice, "We've heard what happened. The fault lies with Ethan and Tiffany. How can you turn around and blame Grace and Liam? What do you mean our fault?" It was clearly Grace's fault. At the engagement party, she hit someone without reason, ruined the banquet, and made Ethan lose face completely. Ethan is young and hot-headed. What's wrong with him teaching her a lesson? She's just a woman. What's wrong with her suffering a little inconvenience? Does it have to escalate to this point? I listened to her twisting the truth, trembling with anger. Suffer a little inconvenience? He threw me into a sewage pit. You call that suffering a little inconvenience? That's what you deserve. Margaret glared at me fiercely. Who told you to hit Tiffany first? Tiffany grew up under our eyes, she's like our own daughter. When you hit her, you hit our face. I could hardly believe my EA.RS. This was the future mother-in-law I once thought was kind and amiable. In their eyes, I, the rightful daughter-in-law, was not even comparable to an outsider like Tiffany. Enough. Liam's angry shout silenced the entire hospital room. His face was gloomy, and his gaze towards Robert and Margaret was bone-chillingly cold. From today on, Ethan is no longer my brother. The family will also have no further relation to him. I will have my lawyer draft a severance agreement. You will sign it whether you want to or not. Furthermore, from now on, Grace will be under my protection. If anyone dares to lay a single hair on her, don't blame me, Liam, for disregarding our past connection. Liam's words exploded in the hospital room like a bomb. Robert and Margaret were stunned. You. What did you say? Margaret looked at him in disbelief. You want to sever ties with Ethan? For this woman? Aunt, please be more polite when you speak from now on. Grace is the person I will protect for the rest of my life. After speaking, Liam no longer paid attention to the dumbfounded Ethan's parents. He turned to my parents. Uncle, Aunt, I'm sorry that Grace had to suffer. I will handle this matter properly and give you, and Grace, a proper explanation. My parents looked at Liam, then at me, and finally sighed. My mother, Eleanor, came over, took my hand, and said with concern, Grace, as long as you're okay, nothing else matters to us. Seeing this, Ethan's parents knew they couldn't get anything good from Liam, so they turned their attack towards me. Grace, you manipulative woman. You must have seduced Liam. You ruined our Ethan's future. Margaret tried to lunge again but was held back firmly by Robert. I looked at them coldly, saying each word distinctly, I didn't seduce anyone. It was your good son who pushed me away with his own hands. As for his future, what does that have to do with me? Quiet returned to the hospital room. I looked at Liam, a swirl of mixed emotions in my heart. Thank you. There's no need for that between us. Get some rest, I'll take care of the rest. I nodded and closed my eyes. Over the next few days, Liam kept his word. He handled everything with swift and decisive action. The treatment was permanently shut down, and its owner and relevant personnel were prosecuted on multiple charges. The companies owned by the heirs involved in the incident suffered utter ruin overnight, some went bankrupt, others closed down, none were spared. Ethan and Tiffany were officially arrested for aggravated assault, and they awaited severe legal punishment. Liam truly had a lawyer draft the severance agreement and used his influence to remove Ethan from the Vance family lineage. For a time, the entire high society was shaken. Everyone knew that Grace was an untouchable boundary for Liam, the head of the Vance. I recuperated in the hospital, and Liam hardly left my side, caring for me constantly. He would peel apples for me by hand, patiently watch boring TV shows with me, and immediately hold my hand when I had nightmares. With his companionship, the trauma in my heart seemed to heal bit by bit. Our relationship also became subtly different. I began to get used to his presence. On the day I was discharged, Liam personally came to pick me up. He didn't take me back to my house, nor to his own villa, but instead took me to a place I least expected. It was the house that was supposed to be my wedding home with Ethan. Why here? I stood at the entrance, feeling a bit resistant. This place was filled with memories of Ethan and me, good and bad, all of them suffocating. Go inside and take a look. Liam took my hand, and I followed him in. Everything inside the house had changed. It was no longer the minimalist style from before, but had been redecorated to my personal preference, a warm and bright cream palette. In the living room, my favorite sunflower painting was hung in the most prominent position. The balcony was filled with daisies. In the bedroom, my usual skincare products were arranged on the vanity table. Everything had been redecorated according to my preferences. These. I looked at Liam in surprise. Don't you like it? He looked at me somewhat nervously. No, I love it. I shook my head, a warm current flowing through me. It's just. How did you know I liked these things? He smiled, and that smile held a tenderness I had never seen before. I've always known. My heart skipped a beat. Just then, his cell phone rang. He glanced at the caller ID, his brow furrowing almost imperceptibly. He walked to the balcony to answer the call, his voice kept very low, but I still vaguely heard some words. Photos. Media. Suppress. A bad feeling rose in my heart. My premonition was soon confirmed. The next day, the internet was flooded with news about me. The headlines were more sensational than the last. Scandal in high, bride-to-be on fiancé with future in-law at engagement. then her fiancé, Grace, the sacrifices childhood and fiancé to prison to marry into wealth. News reports included several photos taken from deceptive angles. There were photos of me pushing away Ethan at the engagement party. There were also photos of Liam intimately tucking me in at the hospital. And one more, of Liam and me standing side by side in this house, smiling at each other. These photos, paired with those slanderous words, instantly painted me as a fickle, manipulative, and vicious woman. Ethan, on the other hand, became a pitiful victim who had been cheated on and jointly framed. The comment section was filled with curses. Holy cow! This woman is shameless, isn't she? Hooking up with her fiancé's older brother on the day of the engagement? My heart aches for Ethan. He must have been blind to fall for a woman like this. There's nothing more vicious than a woman's heart. She'd do anything for money. Liam is no good either, even stealing his own brother's fiancé. I read those malicious comments and felt a chill run through me. I knew this was a scheme by Ethan and Tiffany's families. They couldn't contend with Liam's power, so they tried to destroy me through public opinion. Liam quickly handled these news reports. All related posts and articles were completely removed in a short amount of time, but the damage was already done. I became the laughingstock of the city. I locked myself in my room, not wanting to see anyone. Liam knocked on the door for a long time, but I didn't open it. Grace, open the door. Trust me, I can handle this. Through the door, my voice was hoarse. Can you silence everyone, Liam? I'm tired, I'm truly exhausted. Outside the door, there was a long silence. Just when I thought he had left, his voice sounded again, firm and strong. I can't silence everyone. But I can make sure that from now on, no one dares to even utter your name again. The next day, Liam held a grand press conference. Facing all the media reporters in the city, he did something that shocked everyone. He released all the surveillance footage from the engagement party, as well as the photo I took with my cell phone at the wastewater plant, and the audio recording that clearly captured all their vile faces. He also invited the worker Ethan had threatened, who testified publicly. The truth was revealed to everyone in an undeniable way. All the reporters looked at the desperate me in the video with shock, pity, and anger. Public opinion instantly reversed. Those who had once cursed me began furiously attacking Ethan and Tiffany, as well as the families behind them. The Ensong family stocks crashed, and their reputations were utterly ruined. At the end of the press conference, Liam stood under the spotlight, facing countless cameras, and said word by word, I am standing here today, not to clarify anything. I just want to tell everyone. This girl in the video, Grace, is the person I, Liam, have cherished in my heart since childhood. In the past, I respected her choice and missed my chance. But from now on, I won't let go again. I don't care what she has been through in the past, nor do I care what others think of her. I only know that she is the woman I will marry, the mother of my future children, and the sole mistress of the Cheen. After speaking, he slowly knelt on one knee, facing the camera. He took out a velvet box from his pocket and opened it. Inside was a dazzling pink diamond ring. Grace, I know you're watching right now. Will you marry me? I sat in front of the TV, looking at the man proposing to me on the screen, tears streaming down my face. I accepted Liam's proposal. Our wedding was 100 times grander than the previous engagement party. He booked the entire luxury hotel in the city. All the prominent figures in the city received invitations. On the wedding day, I wore the diamond-studded wedding gown Liam had personally designed for me, linking my arm in his, and walked down the aisle. I saw my parents below the stage, showing relieved smiles. I also saw some people who had pointed fingers at me at the engagement party now looking at me with envy and awe. I didn't see anyone from the residents or the Song family. I heard that after the press conference, they became social pariahs, sold off all their assets, and slunk out of the city in disgrace. Ethan and Tiffany were ultimately sentenced to 10 years in prison. At the end of the wedding, Liam held me tightly in his arms in front of all the guests. He whispered in my ear, in a voice only we could hear, "Honey, welcome home." My tears streamed down uncontrollably again. This time, they were tears of happiness. A year later, I gave birth to an adorable daughter. Her eyes and brows were like mine, but her nose and mouth were exactly like Liam's. Liam held our tiny daughter, deliriously happy, calling her his sweetheart all day long. Watching the two of them, father and daughter, I felt my life was finally complete. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Feel free to share your views, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.